Now, that was Wesley Hunt going absolutely crazy on the Biden administration's open border policies.
You might be wondering what this photo is behind me. This is a photo of a room in a plush New York City tent made specifically for migrants. There's Xboxes and flat screens everywhere, and every creature comfort that you could think of is in this tent. This tent is actually nicer than my room at West Point. I wish I had this stuff. My colleagues on the left often talk about the long, arduous journey to get to this country, and I ask you this: why would illegal immigrants not make the journey to this country if this was going to be the end result? In this facility, they get free room and board, flat screens, 3 meals a day, free internet, and phones. This is the carrot that is bringing millions of illegal aliens to this country at a time when this country can least afford it. For the Democrats, migrants jump to the top of the list while Americans are consistently left behind. Mayor Eric Adams never thought the border crisis would make it to New York City, and now even he has to admit that the Biden open border policies have created a, quote, real-life humanitarian crisis. I say again, a real-life humanitarian crisis. Welcome to the party, sir. Let me show you a real-life humanitarian crisis in its America's cities due to Democrat policies, and America's cities have been crumbling long before President Biden opened the border. And now that every town that we know of, including New York City, is a border town, it's about to get worse. This is Philadelphia. These are not illegal immigrants. These are American cities currently living in abject poverty, and this situation is about to get worse. Greetings from Gary, Indiana. Or is that eastern Ukraine? It's hard to say, but I can guarantee you that if this were eastern Ukraine, the government would be printing as much money as possible to help them, but not our own American citizens. Not so good for the people of Gary, Indiana. And this is not the Dust Bowl or the Great Depression. This is yesterday.
So he made a comment during the first aspect, during the first part of that clip that I thought was very interesting, where he basically said the rooms that were there for the migrant shelters, the makeshift migrant shelters in New York City were nicer than his rooms at West Point. And that is what we're dealing with here. We are dealing with a Biden administration in a lot of these liberal, quote unquote, sanctuary cities that are now basically rolling out the red carpet for the illegal immigrants that are coming in to the tune of millions across that southern border, by the way. And also, United States taxpayer dollars are paying for their room, they're paying for their board, apparently they're paying for these debit cards that get preloaded, they're paying for them to live in luxury hotels in New York City with room service, and free food and all of that stuff, by the way. It is completely insane. But yes, this is where we are in the United States of America. And it is very sad that the Biden administration and all of the toadies, and particularly Alejandro Mayorkas, who is the alleged the head of the department, the head of the border, is doing absolutely nothing about this. But this is what we've come to expect from this administration. They have let the situation at the border become absolutely untenable. They are not even pretending to do anything about it. They just want to play partisan games and blame Republicans for the situation at the border. I have no idea how that works, but they know that they have a mainstream media that they can just lie to, a mainstream media that will let them get away with saying absolutely anything and everything. So look, I'm glad we have a voice like Wesley Hunt there in Congress, but we need much, much more from DC when it comes to this border.